The city of San Jose is looking to pass and enact certain regulations that would directly and indirectly close down tons of gun stores. They would be looking to make it so financially impossible to run a business that it would actually cause gun stores to go out of business. This is an exaggeration. We saw this exact thing happen in San Francisco, and now San Jose is looking to do the same. Let's talk about it. Before we do, though, I want to say thank you to everyone that gives a like, share, all that kind of stuff. This is an actually huge critical issue. San Jose is over 1 million people that live in the city, and many people shop at gun stores in San Jose. There's some pretty big ones in that area, and this would affect more than just the people that actually live in San Jose, which is why it's important, if you're a California resident, to still contact some of the people that I'm going to be mentioning later in this video. I do want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel. This channel was recently demonetized, and while this video is not sponsored by Premier Body Armor or my merch company, I do want to say thank you to both those companies. Got links down in the description. This is a pretty cool laptop case that will actually stop handgun bullets. So while it might not be super practical to carry around a plate carrier everywhere you go, chances are if you're a student or just if you carry around a laptop or a backpack, you can buy one of their body or their backpack inserts or this laptop case that would actually protect you from pretty much every handgun round, which, as you know, if you're a follower of this channel, handgun rounds account for approximately 80-something% of all firearm deaths. So it's a pretty easy way for you to stay prepared all the time. So let's actually talk about what's going on. Well, I'm going to read this little memorandum. So the subject is Ordinance Regulating the Sale, Lease, and Transfer of Firearms and Firearm Ammunition in San Jose at Retail Locations. Now, the recommendation and the outcome is going to be that the adoption of this ordinance will regulate the sale, lease, and transfer of firearms and firearm ammunition in San Jose at retail locations. It requires that retailers obtain a firearm business license from the city as a condition of selling, leasing, or otherwise transferring firearms and ammunition. Here's my problem with that. In order to run a gun store in the state of California, you already have to have a federal license and a state license and a business license and insurance related to all those things. So I'm not really sure what a city license is going to do other than increase the cost of running the business, increase the difficulty of running the business, and add a step for them to stop you from existing in the first place. So not exactly sure what that's going to do when they're looking to stop crime, because that's their goal. That's what they claim their goal is. I'm going to put that in a little asterisk. It requires that licensees video and audio record all firearm and ammunition sale transactions, train all sales staff to determine whether the customer seeks to purchase the firearm for themselves or another person, aka a straw purchase, and ensure inventory checks are conducted and display suicide prevention information. This ordinance will also prohibit the sale of any firearm within or from a residence. Now, there was a lot to unpack in that last two sentences. We'll start with the first one. They are looking to add regulations that require every single firearm or ammunition transaction to be video and audio recorded. San Francisco did this, and it was the final straw that caused the last San Francisco gun store to go out of business, because the cost of having 24/7 high-definition audio and video recording for every single firearm transaction, in addition to the storage of that long-term, is huge. Having actual non-stop data recording like this is a huge investment. It might cost a lot of money to implement it and then to store that data long-term, potentially also off-site. It's a lot. It's just difficult. And at the end of the day, all firearm sales in California and all ammunition sales in California are already tracked by the actual DROS system and the ammunition background check system. So they already have a registry. What do they need to audio and video record it for? It also says that they would require them to train sales staff to determine whether the customer seeks to purchase the firearm for themselves or another person to prevent straw purchases. I'm going to say a few things that are going to offend a lot of people on both sides of the aisle right now. But first, I'm going to say one thing that's already a thing. If you work at a gun store and you knowingly conduct a straw purchase or facilitate a straw purchase, that's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. It's very clearly, it's already something that people are already trained on. Now, for the part that's going to offend some people. I worked in a gun store for 3 years. I stopped my fair share of straw purchases because, I didn't want to go to jail. Pretty simple concept right there, I know, right? But, I said, hey, I'm not going to sell you this gun because I know clearly you're buying this for this other person, or you said you're buying it for this other person because they can't pass a background check. Now, the part that will offend many people. In my time of stopping straw purchases, the only times where I actually felt someone was trying to commit the act of a straw purchase was women looking to buy it for their boyfriends. So if they wanted the truly effective way of stopping straw purchases, in my opinion, for the most part. They could just not sell guns to women, but obviously that's fucked up, and that's not how it works. Straw purchases are something that is very difficult to determine unless someone slips up, which is something that any gun store employee should be trained to look for if they are trying to follow the law. But straw purchases are something that are going to continue. We have a background check system, we have registration in the state of California, and yet still somehow people end up buying firearms, which are later stolen. Criminals will always find ways to find guns, whether it's the ATF trafficking them through Mexico through Operation Fast and Furious, where they lose all the track of all those firearms, which then end up back on American soil, or whether it's just the lowly criminal who steals them from someone after they break into their house. You know, which is also probably a good reason to not have a melon labia or come and take it or this car protected by Smith & Wesson stickers on your car, because it just makes you bigger, more of a target. But that's just my opinion, and that's not really the key point here. Now, then it talks about how they want to have display of various suicide prevention information. Well, I think in California, every firearm that's sold includes a lock that has to talk about suicide prevention, and there's a little slip in there that says, don't kill yourself. There's also various signage that's supposed to be posted around every gun store in the state of California that discusses the legalities of some laws in the state of California. So I'm not sure what they're looking to do, because the mayor has already said that he knows that requiring people to get insurance and that kind of stuff is something that he knows won't actually stop crime, because they also want people to have liability insurance to cover the burden of guns in society, because they're saying that since guns exist, guns are sometimes used for crime, and that puts a certain burden on society, whether it's through government money needing to be paid to do whatever it's got to do, or just the fact that some people die. Now, the problem with that is no insurance company will cover if you are breaking the law intentionally. There's not murder insurance. There's concealed carry insurance, some of which I'm actually actively looking into, like USCCA and some other companies. They're not going to ever cover if you violently murder someone illegally. So I'm not sure what their goal is, but the action that you can take right now, I'm going to have a list of phone numbers down below that if you are a resident of the state of California, you should contact, not just San Jose residents, everyone. If you live in the state of California, I'm going to have some phone numbers down below for people that you can call, urging them to not go with the mayor's request to have this gun control put in place, because it would shut down every single at-home residential FFL. It would also potentially shut down most of the normal retail stores, because not many stores can actually afford to maintain video and audio recordings long term. They probably might not even be able to actually fund it just to get it all set up and rigged up to the state and to the city's requirements. So this is huge. There's phone numbers down below. They're talking about this right now, today and tomorrow. So what you need to do after you're done watching this video, choose one of those phone numbers. I don't care what one it is, because I know it's asking a lot of you to probably call like 8 numbers, but choose one of those phone numbers, give them a call, say, hey, please don't do this because of XYZ reason. Even if you are not a San Jose resident, this would potentially affect you if it shut down your ability to buy firearms within that city. So do you see why it makes sense for California residents as a whole to call and not just San Jose residents? If you know someone that is within the city of San Jose, I urge you to contact them, share this video with them, and tell them to not support this legislation, because it would negatively impact the average, good, hardworking American by making them unable to afford it and unable to access firearms to protect themselves. Let me know what you guys think down below. If there's anything else that you want to talk about, or if I missed something, please leave a comment. I'll try to update the pinned comment. If you use the links in the description, some of those links help support me in this channel. But thank you, everyone. You know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.